for another mission inspiration. I'm running a little late this month. I'm still trying to get it in before the end of July. So this month's challenge, and I will say you may hear some mowing in the background. I apologize when my husband is out doing the yard work this morning, so we may hear just a little bit of that until he's in the backyard. So this month's mission inspiration, the colors are yellow ochre, gray, and burnt orange. And the keywords are picture, shadow, freedom, sketch, and truth. And the mission inspiration is to scrape colors over the page, glue a tea bag or coffee filter fragments, add texture with a stencil, make marks with your fingers, add a self-portrait or photo of yourself, add illegible journaling or scribbles, add one word repeated 3 times, and finish with some sparkle, shine, or luster. And we all know that that's my favorite part. Now the word I have chosen is freedom because I picked one of my favorite photos, and this was when my husband and I were on our honeymoon in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I just loved traveling. I love to travel. So to me, traveling is a type of freedom. It's a chance to go somewhere new and try new things. So that's what my page is going to revolve around. So let's just get to a blank page in here. This was the, I think, May mission inspiration, or June. Okay. Now, let's see if that'll kind of stand flat for us. We'll see. Okay, task number 1. Scrape colors over your page. Now, I'm going to try something experimental here. It may totally not work. We will see what happens. I normally would use paint, but I have my Distress Oxides. Now, going into this, I know that Distress Oxides are reactive to water. And I realize I'm going to have to glue stuff on top, use texture paste, but what I want to experiment with is I think if I use the Holtz Distress Micro Glaze on top of it, it's supposed to make it so that it won't react. But we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scrape some colors on the page. Just like that. I'm trying to do it gently so I don't get too many streaks. That was the Fossilized Amber, which is my yellow ochre. And I'm going to do some Wild Honey. Maybe get some swirls going here. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with some Hickory Smoke for my gray. And I do kind of want to leave some white areas, so we'll see how this goes. Now, of course, I'm going to use my spritzer. Oops, I lost my coffee filter. You may also hear the cats because they are hanging out in the studio with me today. Now let's see how we can get this reacting. I may end up doing a couple layers to get the background the way I want it. Since I'm not allowed to use, well, I suppose I could, scrape colors over your page. I was trying not to use one of my dabbers, so we will see. I do want to get one handy just in case I need it. Now I'm going to take my paper towels now that that's been reacting and kind of run that over the page to pick up some of that. And I'm going to dry it a little, and I'll be right back when I have it dry. Now I do have this dry for the most part. I want to take a little bit of that honey and bring it back in. I'm just going to drag it a bit. I want to get a little bit more blending in the background here. And I do like the gray squares the way they are, so I don't want to mess with those too much. I just want to fill in a little bit of color here. There we go. And we almost have a pattern going with the background. So I'm just going to wet it one more time. I'm trying to go a little slow so I can get some bigger drips. I'm going to give that a minute to react. Getting a clean piece of paper towel, and now I'm going to go over this and get up some of that. There we go. And now there's going to be plenty on top of this, so I think that's good enough for the background. I'm going to get that dry. Okay, now my pages are folding up a bit. Alright, so now to use the Distress Glaze medium, it says directions: apply sparingly over artwork by rubbing glaze on surface with your finger. Buff away excess with a dry paper towel for a smudge-resistant waterproof finish. So let's see what happens. I can't tell if I'm getting it everywhere, but we will see. I'm probably using too much here. It's forming almost like a glaze over it, and I can feel the paper getting smoother, and you can see it kind of turning a little bit of color. I've got a lot right here, so I'm just going to bring that down. And it's not making my Distress Oxides blend anymore. So I'm just going to continue to do this over the page real quick. And then I'll make sure I dry it again. And I can tell when I've got it on because the page no longer feels as rough. It glides, my finger glides more smoothly over it. There we go. And I can see that there's a sheen on the page. Now I'm going to give that a minute to dry, and then I will be right back. Okay, that feels pretty good, and you can see it's got a bit of a sheen to it now. I think there's a few spots that may still be drying, but for the most part we are good. So the next step is to glue a teabag coffee filter fragments down. So I'm just going to take this filter I have and just make a couple of little, and you can tell my ceiling fan's on because everything's blowing. Just going to take a few of those, and I'm going to get my regular Liquitex matte gel medium to glue those down. Get all my little bits over here. I'm just going to pick some spots. And the microglaze is working. I don't appear to be lifting any of the Distress Oxide. I'm just going to get this glue down in a few spots to add that texture. So that's good to know if you have a Distress Oxide background that you have done and you really like. Okay, it is picking up a little bit of the yellow, so there may be a spot that wasn't totally dry, but it's not as bad as it would normally be if I hadn't put the microglaze on. Just going to get these glued down here. There we go. And maybe a piece up here. Just giving it some good texture. Alright, Now, get that dry. Now one thing I do want to do is I want these to blend in a little better. And I want to almost feel like a little bit of torn wallpaper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the vintage photo and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to rub it around the edges just to make it feel like it's a little bit more part of the page, because I do have brown in my photo, so I want that brown to show up. And just kind of pick up on those edges. And then I'll take the gray and do the same to kind of really blend it in. I'm gonna go around my edges a bit. There we go. There we go. Okay. Get the gray, which I haven't used my blending foam on yet. There we go, that's mixing it in nicely. And I realize that this part will be reactive again later, but I just really want to get it so it kind of blends in to the background. Okay. So next is add texture with a stencil. So I have to decide what color I want to use, and I need to find my burnt orange. I think I'm going to use a little of spicy mustard. And what I'm going to do is, this is a stencil I created, and since I'm going with the whole Santa Fe theme, I thought that this would be great to add the texture in the background. So I'm just going to do my Distress Oxides. I'm going to bring out my plate here because I don't want to use texture paste on my craft mat necessarily. I have flexible modeling paste from Liquitex. This is a new one, I gotta get started here. And I'm going to dab, let's see, I need a good spatula. This one you can see has been well loved. And I don't want to do a ton of paste because I want it to dry fairly well. Okay, so we'll do that. And we'll get some spicy mustard in there. Get that kind of mixed up. It'll probably turn a lighter yellow with the modeling paste. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of that together. And now I gotta figure out, I want some of my stencil up here. So I'm gonna hold it down and run this through. And because the page is a little warped, it's not laying smooth, but we'll see what happens. There we go. Now I'm getting a rhythm. Oop, I moved my stencil. Okay, so there's one bit of the sun. I'd like to do some over here. And I may actually have to make more modeling paste. So I've got that all run through there. Let me lift that up. And then I want to get just another spot because I like threes down here. Let's see if I can use up a little bit of what I have left here. If I clean off my mat, it might be a little easier to get more off of here, but where's the fun in that? Who likes to clean up after they've been crafting? Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to get all the texture paste cleaned off my stencil, and I will be right back. Alright guys, I am back. I have let this dry for about a half an hour, and it has a nice little skin on it. It is still just a little bit soggy. Let me just... And that's Holly wanting some attention. She's left the building now. Okay, so let's see, what is next on our list? We have scraped color over the page with the Distress Oxides. I've glued the coffee filter. I've added texture with the stencil. Now I need to make marks with my fingers. Now, when I was in Santa Fe, I saw a lot of images of these, I think they're called Petra Petroglyphs, and I thought they were really neat. So for adding marks with my finger, I think I want to try and replicate some of the handprints, but on a smaller level. Let's see what I can do here. Make marks with my fingers. So I'm just going to get a little bit of some acrylic slate gray. What I kind of want to do is I want to make some dots that maybe I can go back over later with my black pen and doodling and add in what look like maybe some handprints, because that would be cool. Or maybe scribble the handprints into the circles. We'll see. Let me just add a few more over here. I like uneven numbers. There we go. And then what I wanted to try to do was just maybe add some little... No, it ends up looking like paw prints, so that's not really what I was going for. So we're just going to go with the dots on this for now. Just going to add some polka dots. And then when it's all dry, I'll see what I can do with those. Okay. Getting my old towel to clean up on. I'm going to wipe that up with the coffee filter so it doesn't mark up my craft mat, but I can use it later for something else. Get those dry, and I'll let those air dry the rest of the way. So now the next step is to add a self-portrait of myself. And so once again, I have this photo that I love from my trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico. That was about, I think it's almost 2 years ago now. I am going to take some of the vintage photo, just go around the edge a little bit. And go over the photo a little bit. It's a little pink. I kind of want to age it up a little bit. The wall was very pink of the building that this Ganesh was in front of. There we go. Just kind of grunging it up a little bit. Put a little bit of brown over there. There we go. And you can see now that's not quite so pink. I did miss a spot. Let me move this so you guys can see better what I'm doing here. I think that's just the way the light's hitting it. There we go. Just kind of fade it out a little. There we go. Now, since I did just print this photo this morning, it's not quite ready to be totally glued down. So instead, I'm going to find some of my washi tape that I think goes with it, and I'm going to use that to put it down. Okay, so I have some of the Tim Holtz travel washi tape, and this one just has like little, it's probably French script on it, so I'm just going to use a little bit of that to go ahead and put this down for now. Just like I was putting it into one of my scrap albums. There we go. And then just to help make sure that that blends in with the rest of the page, I'm just going to add some in a few other places. I know, it's a little free licensing with the task, but I think we're allowed to, you know, go off script a little bit with what we feel when we're journaling, because it's our journal in the end, and we want to be happy with it. Okay, now again, I'm going to take the brown and just kind of bring those in. And I got to watch the texture paste because it is still a little wet. There we go. Now I've got the brown grunge. And I'm probably going to end up getting one of my darker browns in the very end and going around the whole edge once it's totally dry. Okay, so I've got my photo glued down, taped down. Now add illegible journaling or scribbles. So to do that, I'm going to look for one of my Pilot Multiball pens. I want my medium tip if I can find it. And this is where I'm going to put in some of those doodles that I wanted. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'll zoom in so you guys can see me adding my little, there we go. And I'll fast forward through this part because there's a lot of them. Alright, so I have now added my illegible journaling or scribbles, and now I'm supposed to add one word repeated 3 times, and my word was freedom. So what I did is I took the word freedom and I stamped it using several different fonts so I could add it in all these different little ways. And this one was my favorite. Let's see. I love this stamp set. It reminds me of like what they call ransom letters, when you cut out all the different letters from a magazine. So I think this one's gonna go here. I don't know if I like that one there. I think I want that one to go that way. And then this one to be down here, maybe going that way. Or do I want to include it maybe a little on here? Yes, I think I like that. I want it to be on here a little bit. Even though it covers up some of my journaling, that's okay. And I do want to go around, and actually I'm going to use the gray Distress Oxide in Hickory Smoke to kind of help bring these guys in. Uh-oh. I lost my dabber. I used the wrong one. Alright, I'll just steal this one because I haven't used it yet. Just want to add a little grunging around the edges. I'll speed this up so you guys aren't sitting and watching me ink all these. Okay, I'm done with those for now. So I'm going to get out my trusty sticky thumbs because I want these to stand off the page. I don't want to glue them and have it go everywhere. So I'm going to just get out a few of my sticky thumbs and I will get these put down, and I may fast forward this as well so you guys aren't sitting and watching me peel stickies all morning. Alright folks, we are down to the wire. We are almost there now. So we have used the Distress Oxide to put the color on the back. I glued down the coffee filters. I added texture with one of my custom stencils. I made marks with my fingers. Then I added a self-portrait or photo of myself. I added illegible journaling and some mark making. I added one word repeated 3 times from the list, and that was freedom. Now last, my favorite part, finish with some sparkle, shine, or luster. So you know me and my glitter folks. So I'm going to use one of my shimmer sprays. And I think for this one I want my Tim Holtz Mica spray. And I'm just trying to decide which of the mica sprays I would like to use between the gold and the copper color. I'm sorry, between brass and copper. And I'm thinking for this one, I'm going to go with the Distress Mica spray in Antique Bronze. So let me just get this shook up really well. And then I'm going to protect my photo here a little bit. Just don't want it to get all over my face, although I'm probably getting Distress Oxide all over it. I've got that shook up real well. And now I'm going to go ahead and just add some shimmer. And then I want some drops. Which isn't really working the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. There we go. They got on the Distress Oxide the way I wanted, but not the page. There we go. There we go, get some splatters. Okay. Now that I've made that mess, and you can see, let me just dry this real quick, that beautiful shimmer now. You can see the hints of the copper. And now I just have to go ahead and sign it. So this is Mission Inspiration, July 2018. And I would say mission is complete. Now I think I may have forgotten in the beginning to explain what Mission Inspiration is, and for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a Facebook group run by Mike Deacon of Mike Deacon Art, and each month there is a different journal prompt, which is what you saw here. The Mission Inspiration sheet comes out. Sometimes they come from Mike himself, sometimes he has guest Mission Inspiration folks who give us a list. It's just a fun way when you're doing journaling to kind of think outside the box, have a chance to work with things you normally wouldn't work with, colors, textures, styles. So I'll go ahead and put a link below to that, so if you want you can go ahead and join, and of course it's optional if you want to do the Mission Inspiration. They have a main mission and a mini mission each month. So thanks so much for following along. I had a lot of fun with this journal page. I especially love it because it captured a very happy time for me on one of my favorite vacations. So if you liked the video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You'll stay up to date on all my latest video releases. Thanks so much for watching. Happy journaling and happy crafting.